Hey everyone, Michael here, the founder of SlashDev, and today I want to quickly talk to you about how to get hired with a US company. This is one of the most common questions that we get asked in our network. And so the first thing that you need to do is you need to make sure you get the right experience. You need to have solid working experience, whether it be back end, front end, whatever your skill set is, so that you can show this off in your interview with the client. Number two, you need to build your project portfolio. Make sure that you have at least three production level applications to show off in your interview. If you're a front end engineer, this should be three beautiful front ends that you've built for real clients, for real websites that have paying customers. That's always best. Now, if you can't do that, of course, it's better to have a portfolio of projects that you've just built on the side, but the more real these projects can be, the better. And the more credible the companies that you build them for, the better. And really, projects are everything. So if you can really show that you have done this before, whether it be front end, back end, data science, machine learning, the client's going to feel like they can trust you to drive their project forward. Number three, make sure that you have in demand skills. Make sure that you are not doing uh, some old archaic language or a skill that has no job opportunities. Focus on things like React, Node, focus on Flutter, iOS, Android. These are the technologies that are booming. There are hundreds of thousands of new projects all the time in these technologies. There are tons of job opportunities. There are resources online to learn. These are the skills that people are building new applications in. And so make sure that you have a skill set that is based on these. Don't just be writing vanilla JavaScript. Don't be writing HTML and CSS and not using a modern JavaScript framework. Don't be building monolithic applications when you can build applications that have a front end and an API and a back end. Really make sure that you have a modern skill set. Number four, make sure that you're writing clean code and perfecting your ability to write clean code. The better the client we have, the more we see that they want their engineers to be able to write clean and maintainable code. They want to make sure that their components are organized, that code is not written twice in multiple places, that it's well documented. This is an incredible skill set, and the engineers who know how to write clean code, they know the design patterns, and they know all the frameworks that they can use to organize their code base. They really stick out in interviews, and clients are much happier to work with someone who has a great explanation to how they're going to write clean and maintainable code. Number five, along with this, the more high-end clients are looking for engineers who have experience with software testing. They want to know that you can run unit tests on your code to make sure that it doesn't break, to understand that it's efficient. And so make sure that you're digging into testing, you're perfecting your testing experience. You don't have to always do this. I know this is many engineers' biggest nightmare, running tests on their code, but know how to do it, have experience with the different testing frameworks and libraries for your specific language and skill set. And you'll definitely stand out in interviews if when they ask you if you have experience with testing, you can say you do. Even if you've only run a few tests, at least you're familiar with it so that when you join their team, you can quickly jump in and start running unit tests on your code. Number six, make sure that you really have strong communication. This is something you can control. Your level of English, of course, you can continue to perfect this and become a more fluent speaker. And this is something that takes time and practice, but something that is purely based on effort every single day is your communication and professionalism. And so make sure that you are updating the client every day. Make sure even through the interview process, you are being proactive and sending over your portfolio items, that you show up to the meeting on time, that you have good lighting, a mic, and a peaceful backdrop with not much background noise so that the client can really get to know you and get the best first impression of you. These are all skills that have to do with communication and professionalism. And so that in combined with your English level, but really as long as you have good enough English, It's more about being a proactive communicator. This along with your pure ability to build front ends, back ends, or whatever your skill set might be, is just as important. This communication, we've seen great engineers who drop out of jobs because they just weren't good enough at communicating. They can write the code, but they couldn't ask the right questions. They couldn't communicate well with the client about when the deliverable would be finished. They didn't reply for several days. So this is just as important as the engineering in many cases. And then, of course, how do you get the job? So, what you'll need to focus on in order to get the job, there's a few different ways that you can go. So, of course, you can just go out and you can apply for jobs, and there's a lot of jobs out there, and maybe some of them will take your CV and get you on a call. Maybe some of them will like you and want to move forward with you, and maybe some will figure out the regulations and the legal hoops they need to jump through to hire you as an international member of their team. So that's one option. And it's not a terrible option. You can find jobs doing that. It will take an incredible amount of time and effort on your part, and you need to make sure that the companies you apply for are open to hiring you, given your location and the legal hoops they would need to jump through. You can also choose to work freelance traditionally on a platform like Upwork or freelance.com. This is a great way to just get some experience, but what we see from many engineers in our network who have experience with this is that it's a lot of scoping small projects and trying to move forward, but not making a whole lot of progress. Or, hey, I need you to debug this for 5 hours. Can you do this? Oh, can you do this app for me? Maybe we can just do it for $200. A lot of those types of conversations that really aren't that interesting, and they don't pay the bills, they don't get the job done for you. And so what we find is that when engineers join Slashdeve, they have the opportunity to get part-time or full-time jobs on a long-term basis. And this is what most engineers are really looking for. So, of course, as the option I would recommend, I would say check out platforms like Slashdeve or other freelance and remote work platforms, because what we allow you to do is we allow you to get that remote work experience that freelancing gives you, but without all the stress of having a lot of small projects that don't really add up to much. These are full-time and part-time long-term job opportunities with excellent employers. And so, yeah, that would wrap up my tips on how to get hired with a US company. And thank you for the time today.